Imagine seeing something, well, something genuinely unprecedented. A part of our universe's closest star that, believe it or not, has been completely hidden from humanity. Until now.
Sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? But it's real.
It absolutely is. Humanity just got its first proper look at the sun's south pole. And it's all thanks to the incredible Solar Orbiter mission.
An amazing feat of engineering and planning.
So today, that's what we're doing deep dive into. The sheer audacity of this mission, really, and why seeing the sun's pole is, well, such a huge breakthrough for solar science.
Yeah, we need to unpack the challenges, what they actually saw, and crucially, why it matters. Why understanding our star better impacts us right here.
Exactly, because, what's fascinating is the picture itself. Maybe it just looks like, I don't know, a regular patch of the sun.
To the untrained eye, perhaps. But it represents a view we have literally never seen before. It's the result of this really bold maneuver by Solar Orbiter, pushing the limits.
It really underscores how big a deal this is. I saw a quote from ESA astrophysicist Carol Mundell. She said, "Today we reveal humankind's first ever views of the sun's pole."
A powerful statement.
Right. She continues, "These new unique views from our Solar Orbiter mission are the beginning of a new era of solar science." So, for those of us maybe not deep in solar physics, why? Why a new era? What changes now?
Well, that gets to the heart of why this has been so difficult for so long. The core problem is orbital mechanics, basically.
Okay.
Earth and pretty much every solar observatory we've ever launched orbits the sun more or less level with its equator in what we call the ecliptic plane.
So we're always looking at it from the side, effectively.
Exactly, meaning the top and the bottom, the poles, they're always edge-on, obscured, difficult to see properly. They've been called terra incognita, unknown territory.
Terra incognita. I like that. It really captures that feeling of, exploration.
It does. It's been this huge blind spot in our understanding of how the sun works. Its magnetic field, the solar wind, a lot of originates or is shaped by these polar regions.
So if we're stuck in this equatorial plane, how did Solar Orbiter manage it? What was this daredevil maneuver you mentioned? How did it break free?
Well, it had to do something completely different. It didn't just stay in that flat plane. It used gravity assists, particularly from Venus, to gradually tilt its orbit.
Tilt it, like change the angle it goes around the sun.
Precisely. In February 2025, it achieved an inclination, a tilt, of 17 degrees relative to the sun's equator. Finally enough to get this first proper glimpse over the edge down towards the South Pole.
17 degrees. How does that compare to previous missions?
Well, most stay very close to 0 degrees. Some got up to maybe 7 degrees. The big exception was Ulysses, way back. It flew over the poles.
Oh, so Ulysses saw them.
It flew over them, yeah, but it didn't have the right kind of imaging instruments on board to get pictures like Solar Orbiter can. It measured other things like particles and fields, which was groundbreaking then, but it couldn't see the surface structure like this.
Ah, okay. So close, yet so far. A real missed opportunity visually. Until now.
You could say that. And the timing for Solar Orbiter to getting this view really couldn't be more interesting.
Why is that? What's special about now?
Because the sun is just coming out of solar maximum. That's the peak of its roughly 11-year activity cycle.
Right, when things get really active sunspots, flares.
Exactly. And crucially, during solar maximum, the sun's entire magnetic field flips. North becomes south, south becomes north.
The whole star's magnetic field reverses.
The whole thing. It's this huge dynamic process, a global magnetic reversal. And honestly, we don't fully understand the mechanics of it. Seeing the poles clearly during this tumultuous period is, well, it's invaluable. It gives us data right from the source of all this magnetic activity.
Okay, so the timing is perfect. The orbiter is in position, tilting downwards. What did it actually see? What did the instruments reveal about this uncharted territory?
Right. The moment of truth. They turned on the instruments like the polarimetric and helioseismic imager, or PHI.
PHI. What did that show?
It maps the magnetic fields on the sun's surface, and down at the South Pole, during this observation, it saw what one scientist called a fascinating mess.
A mess. How so?
A mixture of magnetic polarities. Patches of north polarity mixed in with the dominant south polarity, which is kind of what you'd expect during this reversal phase. As things calm down towards solar minimum, one polarity will win out and become much more orderly. PHI let us see that messy transition happening.
Okay, so magnetic chaos. What else?
Then you have the extreme ultraviolet imager, EUI. This one takes pictures in ultraviolet light, showing us the solar atmosphere just above the surface.
What did EUI capture?
Really fine details, incredible structures, even from this oblique polar view. Things like dynamic loops of plasma following magnetic field lines, little bursts of energy. It shows the atmosphere is active even way down there at the pole.
Wow. And there was another instrument mentioned, spicy.
Yes, spicy E, spectral imaging of the coronal environment. This one looks at specific elements in the corona, the sun's outer atmosphere, in different wavelengths of light to figure out temperature and composition.
So spicy tells us what the atmosphere is made of and maybe how hot it is, even down there.
And how it's moving. That's key. Spicy tracked carbon ions, specifically in the transition region, that's this turbulent layer where the sun's atmosphere gets incredibly hot really quickly.
How does tracking carbon ions help?
It created two kinds of maps, one showing how bright the carbon emission is where the stuff is, and another, a Doppler map, showing how fast it's moving towards or away from the spacecraft.
Ah, so speed and direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And knowing how plasma moves in the solar atmosphere, especially from the poles, is absolutely crucial for understanding the solar wind.
The solar wind. That stream of particles constantly flowing out from the sun.
That's the one. It blows throughout the solar system, interacts with planets, including Earth, causes aurora. But it can also disrupt satellites, power grids, communications.
Right, space weather.
Precisely. A lot of the fast solar wind is thought to originate from these polar regions, particularly from areas called coronal holes. Seeing how the plasma behaves right at the source helps us understand how that wind is generated and hopefully predict its effects better.
It's just incredible that even from this, what sounds like a relatively short initial observation,
It was quite brief, yes?
they've gathered enough data to keep scientists busy for years.
Mm.
What are the immediate takeaways? And these particularly surprising?
Well, the main thing right now is establishing a baseline. This is the first clear look. So even this short snapshot is hugely valuable because we can compare it to later observations as the sun continues to calm down towards solar minimum. We can track how that magnetic mess sorts itself out.
So it's like getting the first frame of a movie we've never seen before.
That's a great analogy. We're finally seeing the start of this polar cycle with clarity. We're getting actual data on processes that were largely theoretical or inferred from those side-on views.
And Solar Orbiter isn't stopping there, right? This 17-degree tilt isn't the end game.
Not at all. This is just the beginning. It'll stay at around 17 degrees until late 2026. But the mission plan includes further Venus flybys to keep cranking up that inclination.
Cranking it up, how high?
The plan is to reach 24 degrees tilt and then eventually in June 2029 get up to a remarkable 33 degrees.
33 degrees. That's quite a steep angle.
It really is. That will give us an even better, more direct view down onto the poles. ESA astronomer Daniel Mueller called this first 17-degree view the first step on Solar Orbiter's stairway to heaven.
Stairway to heaven, I like that too. Climbing higher for a better view.
Exactly. Each step, each increase in inclination will provide ever clearer views of these critical regions. The data from those higher latitudes, it promises to fundamentally change our models of the sun's magnetic field, the solar wind, how solar activity works overall.
Which ultimately helps us predict space weather more accurately.
That's a major goal, yes. Better understanding leads to better prediction, which helps protect our technology and infrastructure.
So wrapping this up, this first glimpse is profound. Seeing this terra incognita, the sun's south pole, for the first time, even this initial data drop is huge.
It really is just the beginning of transforming our view of the sun. Years of analysis ahead from just this first pass.
And looking ahead, Solar Orbiter climbing that stairway, getting to 24 degrees, then 33 degrees, promising even more revolutionary data.
The potential is enormous. We're going to learn so much more about how our star generates its magnetic field and drives the solar wind.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. If just changing our perspective, getting this first glimpse of one hidden part of our nearest star, can unlock so many fundamental secrets about how it works and how it affects us, what else might be out there?
Good question.
What other crucial secrets might be hiding, maybe not even that far away, just waiting for us to, well, literally look at them from a different angle? And what does learning about our sun's poles mean for understanding the billions of other stars out there? This first view, it really is just the tip of the